edition of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com editor-in-chief Ryan Satin, here with my co-host Jamie Iovine,
hey everybody,
Kevin Silva,
it's me,
and she's back, Rachel Sam Evans. Yay!
Hell yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no, you're like the one person who's like, "Where's Rachel? Where's she been? Where's Rachel?"
That's surprising.
She's eating hot ramen.
I am. I'm eating just noodles all
Noodles.
day.
Noodles and hanging out with exotic animals.
Oh yeah, very.
You got some
exotic.
cool, like there was like an alpaca I want to say once.
Yeah, Fable the alpaca got attacked by a pack of llamas.
Whoa.
I know. But
how many
she's
times
fine.
can you say pack in a sentence?
Alpaca.
Alpaca,
Say pack again.
Well, speaking of pack, let's get into AEW.
Nice. I was hoping and it did.
Yeah, whew, I got it. So
You are truly a podcaster,
what can
sir.
I say? So AEW this week kicked off with Private Party and Lucha Bros already in the ring. I thought that was kind of interesting how they didn't do the whole fancy opening they kicked it off right with the action.
Yeah.
It's funny when I rewatched this morning, Jamie. I did notice the weight thing that they said for Private Party.
That's a great.
What did they
Catch
say?
that?
They said, I wasn't because it happened all so fast,
Right.
and I'm still like I was still setting up NXT on the other computer, so
Right.
it all happened very
was
fast.
What was the weight thing?
They said weighing in at like 25 grams of vodka cranberry.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm going to be billed in corn dogs. Like,
And then I didn't get. I answered to you too late, and then you responded to me too late, and I didn't see it. How? Okay. I posed this on Twitter. If you had to guess how much you weigh in corn dogs, how many corn dogs do you think you weigh?
That's a toughie because I don't even know how they got to the point of 25 grams. Like, how much is 25 grams of
Well,
vodka?
Not enough, I don't think.
But
That doesn't seem like
Doesn't
a.
seem like enough.
But is that how much you just fucked up after 25 grams of vodka cranberry?
No, just made of vodka.
But yeah, I mean, but like
cranberries.
that's how much they count their weight. Is
Maybe
like
that's
their-
how much they currently have in their
Are
system.
you
Sure,
looking
that's-
at
You
how
know,
many
it's
corn
like when you're
dogs?
building, because when you cut weight and
Yeah.
when you do the weigh-in, that's your
true.
weight.
That's true. How about I think that you should be billed as a delicious amount of corn dogs.
That's the better idea.
That is actually the best way of.
So this in 2 Sundays you'll be
If
billed
they
as.
don't announce me, everybody in Port Wayne will be like, "What? This has nothing to
Weighing
do
in
with
at a delicious amount of corn dogs.
It has nothing to do with anything you're doing
nothing,
in the ring.
nothing."
You have to have them wait. You have to have them do that.
If
Jamie.
I ask them to, they will, but
Which
it's
is
going to
great.
be so weird.
Do you have a particular affinity towards corn dogs?
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
well,
love
you-
them.
I do.
I do
Corn dogs
too.
are like my favorite thing in the world,
I have a
especially
tie for you.
What's that?
Listen, it ain't fancy, but it's a corn dog tie, and I want you to have it.
Oh, a tie.
Oh, like an
a
actual
necktie.
tie. Ooh.
Oh, I thought you
Ooh.
meant like something as good as corn dogs.
Yeah, me too. I thought that there was some kind of tie-in that she was saying. Yeah, no, I thought the same thing.
There's nothing.
No, a
I was like,
necktie.
what is this blasphemy?
What did you guys think about the show just kicking off with no intro, just getting right into the action?
I'm not gonna ruin the ending because we're gonna get there,
Right.
Even though the ending already happened. But when I mean ruin it, like jump ahead too far. But
You mean
I
the
think-
end of the show?
Yeah, I thought the way they went in, the way they went out was really interesting.
Agreed.
I liked the way the beginning started because of the way it went out. It just felt like they were like, we have too much action, we have to cram it into one show, and we're gonna just start it off. Which I think that's good if they do it every so often. But I do like that intro package. I like the fireworks.
I agree. I like the way that the show is introduced, but I will say I think the pacing of the show was odd.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I love it started off really great, and I was in it immediately, and the energy was high, and then. The show was good. The show was very good, but the pacing was super strange.
I would say actually both of these shows, in my opinion, were maybe the two strongest shows from both sides. But yeah, I didn't like the pacing as much. To me, when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself like this, and throughout the show, I just kept saying to myself like, I wish they would slow down for like a second. Like
I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, like it was too much. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's like a really shitty nitpick, but like I'm just like you guys didn't need to do all of that. Like,
As I was like watching it, and like we do the picture-in-picture thing for TNT for the majority of the show, is that they're constantly going. There's never a moment for the audience to breathe for the show. It's because except for like occasional video packages, but that's it. Everything else is just moving.
I'm genuinely
constantly.
curious. Have any of you guys seen? I'm not even trying to knock it, but this is just something I've noticed. I haven't seen that many rest holds in this show. Like, not even,
They're like,
no.
if anything, they're trying to go out of the way to not use them.
yeah.
Well, because I think that they're. I don't want to say anything salacious. Maybe over-catering to the audience, and so there's a lot of flippy shit, and there's a lot of like high pace, and they also, you can tell, are reactive to the audience inside of the stadium. So
Yes.
they hear that something is getting a pop, and they're like, "Oh, we do this now," which doesn't leave for a lot of like strategic storytelling, which is, I think, the problem that we're all having with it, is that it's not that any spots were bad or anything particularly was not good. It's just not, they're not storytelling right now.
That was 100% my problem with most of the show, was it just didn't feel like a lot of storytelling. It just felt like a lot of action, which isn't a problem. I mean, I get it. There's going to be so many people in the comments here who are going to say,
What are we
you're
for now?"
complaining
No,
about
yeah.
wrestling being on a wrestling show, you fucking assholes, what all the comments are going to say. And I know it already, but I just think that, like, also, I don't feel like every match needs to be 15 minutes or whatever either. Like, look, I like Private Party. I think Lucha Bros are one of the best teams in wrestling right now. But that match was a little too much. Like, there was like 50 Hurricane Ranas. There was a lot of spots that just like looked very staged.
Well, it got to the point where they even got lost.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
You know, they even there was towards the end when there was supposed to be like Phoenix is pointing at one of the Private Party guys. No, I'm sorry. One of the I'm trying to figure out who it was. It
was Private Party.
No, it was Private
Yeah.
Party trying to tell one of the I forget who's who in
So
there.
they go for the pin.
They go for the pin. He's like pointing at Phoenix, but he's like, no, wait.
He's not legal.
The Pentagon is legal. Like they even get lost.
Yeah,
with
and
it.
commentary pointed that out too. They were like, "Oh, that was what a good moment for Private Party to take." Okay.
There was also that thing where one of the guys from Private Party was on his partner's shoulders, and then they like, I think it was Phoenix did the springboard drop kick that made him Hurricane Rana his partner. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't, if you got kicked, your feet wouldn't be strong still like that to flip over your opponent like
Is
that.
it crazy that I thought that was one of the more realistic spots
Really?
on the show?
Yes, it's a problem,
I know,
Kevin.
because I was just like watching it. I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. Like I could buy that a little bit.
Well, my
I
opinion.
liked it, but I don't. It doesn't. It's
Right.
not physics.
No, it's not physics.
Right. I mean, it's not physics, but it's like it's not absurd to me. It wasn't an absurd spot to me.
I just, you know what? It's not even so much of an issue as it is a warning. Is that you know, it's like, why are you you're giving us everything out the gate?
Yes.
Like these matches are like cool, and there's a lot of crazy shit, but you're gonna drill your fans into thinking that this is just happenstance, and so where do you go? Yeah.
Exactly. Like, okay, I feel the exact same way because, for example, this match, Private Party and Lucha Bros. You already gave us Private Party versus Young Bucks now, which could have been the finals of this tournament.
Absolutely.
And you wasted that win that Private Party got because now they're out of the tournament already. So that big win they got has already been nullified, and they were on Dark and on the losing team against the Bucks. It's literally like I don't understand what the point of that was.
You know what it feels like? They just don't have any time for foreplay. Like, there's no time for AEW to seduce the crowd because they need to be amazing out the gate.
Yeah.
So they're throwing everything that the audience wants to see at them and saying, like, okay, you're on board. And then I would assume that storytelling will pick up, that pacing will pick up. We'll see more of those like submission holds, and I'm hoping that that's the case. But for right now, it just kind of feels like a teenager like fumbling trying to get my bra off, and I'm like, okay, can we like take it? Can we take it slow?
Like the
for a
opening of
little
the
bit?
show is just like a ton of KY and like just a ball gag immediately.
Yeah.
It's like holy shit.
Yeah.
Hey, why?
It's very true. And
I was thinking,
That was the thing I had a problem with.
Sorry.
It's
Sorry,
like-
just
it's-
nice.
like, not even lube. It just
like,
sounded weird when you said
fine.
KY.
KY.
Like, not even lube,
I
you
know.
know?
Not a sponsor.
No, KY jelly. It just sounds weird when you say it. I don't
it's
know
not
why.
good.
I'm sorry.
It's not good. Like I'm just saying. Like I'm sorry. Cannabis infused just lube. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
It's better.
Thank you. Whoopi Goldberg.
it'll make your dick high.
So then the Lucha Bros won. Like I said, they got a spike cradle pile driver. Then next, we had Dark Order versus SCU.
Dark Order, huh?
See, that's the thing. This was one here. Another one where I go like, okay, fine. You want to have Private Party versus Lucha Bros, kick off with badass action, get the people paying attention, you know? But clearly, if you're over-catering to the market like it feels like they're doing and listening to the crowd, you have to see the reaction of what people are saying about the Dark Order. Like, I think I love Evil Uno. Sorry.
Evil Uno.
I love Evil Uno, but it's
and
clearly
his
people...
partner, Keith, or whatever the fuck is
And his partner, Jerry.
Evil Uno and Stu. Which is
It's just as bad. Yeah.
Just keep calling him Chad.
And I just felt like they did this like video package before, which was just cool music on the Dark Order, which didn't tell you more about them at all.
That's what I'm saying. If you want us to think they're scary, you keep telling us that they're scary, but you've had 4, is it 3 or 4?
4 now.
4 episodes, and you haven't done anything to show us why.
And you did a vignette for them. You did one, but it was just music.
Isn't a giant man in a leather vest walking out and just like hugging and kissing and pushing away like his...
doesn't explain a damn thing.
It's not Uno. It's not Uno who's the confusing part.
I know.
It's Stu.
It's the fact that they don't match.
Somebody explain Stu,
Someone
please.
tell me what Stu is.
That's exactly how I feel about Dark
If he was
Order.
just Grayson,
Yeah.
that'd be better.
Well, no, I know a dog named Grayson's a real bitch.
Yeah, that
so
sounds
it would
too
be better.
good.
That sounds too much like Dick Grayson.
Well, they even made that
we're getting-
comment.
Hey, let's
did?
pick a name that goes in something with evil.
Yeah, like
if-
Damien.
Or dark, or something. Like,
if you want to give it a normal name, Damien.
yeah, like...
Well, they have a Damien. Well, no, that's AEW. No, sorry, that's
Stu
NXT.
Dark.
No, it's like we're going to
People
get
have
a
that
wrestler
name.
named after Tommy's dad in Rugrats.
Yeah, no, I like that reference a lot.
Well, now I like. Now I'm
Stu
Yeah, no, I
Pickles.
think that's the problem is that we just don't
Trim
have.
me on
I think
them
we
now.
want to like Dark Order. I want to. This is right up my alley.
Human Throne?
This
Yeah.
weird shit is right up my alley.
Sure.
I want to like it. I need context. I don't know her right now. Like, please give us like a little bit of backstory to this. and then
Anything.
yeah.
Anything.
They'll
God.
get over. They'll get over.
You have 4 TV episodes and a weekly YouTube series, and you couldn't give us anything about what...
Two YouTube series because the Road 2 is
Yeah.
kind of stopped now.
But they have a huge roster right now, and I feel like they're like building up to something and taking their time, and maybe their build up will come later. I don't know.
I also believe that now that Nick Mondo is on full time at AEW, he's full time. He's a director there now.
That's great
From
news.
what I hear, he has been working on stuff that hasn't come out yet for some of the teams that are like that kind of stuff, you know,
Okay.
like
Sure.
stuff that are character building, vignette type stuff that sounded cool to me when I heard about some of them. So I have faith they're gonna do more of them. Dark Order is someone who badly needs one.
I think them more than anybody.
And this
Yeah.
match did not need to be as long as it was. Like the fans were not super into it, and it was great. It was what? Why are you looking at me like that?
Just very distracted by your hair.
Is it
right
fucked
now.
up right now?
What?
No, it's just like it's
well,
like,
you got definite mood.
Oh
was like
man,
a little-
thank you for telling me now.
I didn't know.
But like it had like the bangs, and it was
No,
like
it's
very much like,
gonna be there for a little bit.
Fixed
It,
now?
it
No,
was like
it's there.
It was like first
I have
album.
product in my purse. I'll fix you.
It was like
after.
first album Panic of Disco almost. Like
Well,
yeah, it
that's,
was like,
you're saying that like it's a bad thing.
but it was to look.
All right,
good,
relax,
yeah.
Roman.
Have you seen
Relax,
Brendan
Roman.
Fix it now.
Please.
Better now?
Maybe you need some KY in there.
No, I would never.
Yes, actually, it is better.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so
Can't fix this though.
so then SCU wins. So now we got the finals next week. SCU versus Lucha Bros, and then Rock and Roll Express.
Which announced
gonna
today
be-
that the Rock and Roll Express are going to be presenting the tag titles.
which I like that.
Then they
why?
should, and then just Canadian Destroyer everybody.
Yeah.
Because
after.
WCW.
Yeah.
You just like it just because like it's like, oh, well, I like that.
Well, that's
nice.
why it's gonna
That's
happen.
why they're doing
yeah.
it. Why do I like it? Because I feel like, you know, I've seen Rock and Roll Express still wrestle a few times
and it's
recently.
and they could still
They can still
wrestle.
go.
Yeah.
So I feel like it maybe will set up like a match with whoever.
Yeah,
wins.
when
I'd be into that.
When I saw their names like being announced, I was like, oh, maybe they're bringing them in like for a one-off, like because I just want to see Ricky Morton Canadian destroy everybody, you know?
It's gonna be
Rock and
Lucha
Roll
Bros.
Express. Yeah.
and that's insane.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's insane.
Also, that Rick and and Morty thing was weird too.
Dude.
They announced that
Here's the thing.
Rick and
I understand people love Rick and Morty. I don't care for it at all.
Okay.
Ricky Morton and Rick and Morty are.
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
I'm
Oh
getting-
wow, I didn't even think about that.
Wubba
Yeah.
Wubba Dub Dub or whatever, dude.
That's good reference.
There
Very
you
good.
go.
The kids
I
are
did
gonna
it.
love
Did
that.
it. Hey. But I don't know. It's just like a weird thing. Like the Jay and Silent Bob thing, it made sense for like
Because
Jericho.
they're friends with Jericho.
And-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jericho's in the movie, so
Yeah.
then this seems really weird.
Well, what made me laugh about it is last week during the draft. I think it was last week, whatever the draft
Well,
stuff.
I know-
Everyone was going. Oh, the draft, including cross promotion
Right.
stuff, signals that WWE doesn't care about the fans. That's what, dude. There was so many people that were saying
Roka.
that last week. Roka was one, and there was I saw other journalists that were talking about it. Of like, this just shows that WWE doesn't care what the fans do. They only care about cross promotion. And then when Rick and Morty is also a cross promotional thing with AEW, all those same people are like,
I mean, I know how they
sounds
got
cool.
it is because TNT's a Warner Brothers
Warner
property.
Brothers.
And, yeah.
Just like during the draft when they were doing those war room things, it was the exact
called
same
synergy.
thing.
I think that people are
Synergy.
more okay with AEW playing ball because it's kind of like, oh, good, they're like getting in the action, whereas WWE is the action. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, they're going to cross promote between
Yeah.
channels. Obviously, that
I
makes
just
sense.
hate the hypocritical nature of like.
You root for the underdog.
I
And
know,
the
but then
underdog
it's
is
not
getting
fair
checks
to,
now.
to praise them for the
No,
things
it's
that you
not.
put down the other one for.
You're right. Oh,
I
you're
do
right.
kind of want to hear Chuck Taylor cut a promo on Reggie Miller on this next AEW because Reggie Miller laughed at wrestling.
I was sad that he didn't say shit on the mic. I thought they were going to let Chuck Taylor come on the mic and say shit at some point.
Yeah.
He keeps tweeting about how he wants to say shit on
it's
TNT.
it's going to be a moment.
It
When
will
happens.
be a moment when
He's
he's
building
like,
to
This is
that.
a great build.
So then we had Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela.
Which I'm sorry, that was the highlight of the night for me.
Really?
I
Yeah.
enjoyed
Out of both
this.
shows?
Well, no. Out of
AEW.
AEW.
Okay.
I enjoyed the hell out of that match. Kenny was great. Kenny's always great. But you're really starting to see Joey improve every week.
Yeah.
He's a star.
And
Like,
he
he's such a
really
star.
is. I mean, like, of course, he was like the bunkhouse, silly shit, whatever what is Jim
Cornette.
Cornette call it?
Jornet?
That's his
It's
screen
like the
name.
French
That's his
version of
screen
Jim
name. No,
Cornette.
that's his AIM.
Okay.
yeah, Joey's just like killing it. Like that match
dude.
was incredible.
He
That
had a
splash to the outside from the he did a
where you hit their apron. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really painful looking. He's amazing, and I think they'll continue to build him. And they're obviously hearing from the crowd.
And
that-
I enjoyed Joey's tweet this morning. He said he woke up feeling sick, and he said it's probably because I haven't done any like stupid or like what is he?
He's like, I haven't done any stupid outlaw mud show outlaw
Yeah.
bullshit
Yeah.
for the past few matches or something like
Yeah.
that. I liked the match too. It wasn't bad. It was weird to me they put like the way better one on their YouTube
Well,
show.
because that one was the hardcore one, and this one
unsanctioned.
wasn't.
Yeah, I know, but
But now we're getting a wrestling match, and
But
then it
also-
shows off that Joey could wrestle.
But also, they're not feuding, so I don't like it. Just, and I hate to nitpick, but like,
But
I'm
it
just
seems like the show
they're-
isn't gonna be built
it's
on
similar
feuds.
to the burning out already. Of like, those two matches could have been the basis of like a long-term program between the two of them, and now they've burnt out on them. Or like, how do you go back to that? How
like
do you
Keith
top
Lee,
that?
Donovan, like Dominic, where they're just like match after match with each other.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question: do you
At
think
least those guys are feuding though.
But
They're
I mean,
in a program.
Right, right.
I feel like
Joey Janela,
AEW
they're
kind
like
of they kind of
shaking
pick
hands
and
after.
choose. Yeah, they kind of pick and choose where they'll have like really thought out feuds between like we're seeing what we'll see later in the episode with Cody and stuff, and then we have this with Kenny and Joey, and I'm confused by it only because it seems that wins and losses matter. Like it seems like there are stakes within this universe, and I don't know what it means for the like development of Joey or Kenny to have Kenny go like 2 over him. So I don't know what that means.
has Joey won any matches?
I
don't-
think he. It says it on their website now, so I can tell you.
There you go.
Because I know I'll be like I'll say something and someone's like your computer's right in front
Because
of
he
you.
lost.
dick."
He lost both unsanctioned matches.
Yeah.
He
I'm pulling it up. We got it right
I'm
here.
here for
It's
an underdog
Joey
moment.
is 1 and 2
yeah.
in
So
singles.
he beat somebody.
1 and 3 overall. This is confusing. I hate math. He's 1 and 2 in singles, 0 and 0 in
Simple
tag
addition.
teams, and then 0 and 1 in trios. So he's
Oh, that's
1
right.
and 3 overall.
Yeah. Who'd he beat? Brandon
math,
Cutler.
I can't do
Say
it.
that, yeah.
My
Let's
brain
just say
hurts.
Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, maybe. Sure.
Well, here's the question I wanted to ask.
Okay.
4 weeks
Do
we
you
forgot.
think that the main event division, like the heavyweight, well, not heavyweight because Darby Allin's challenging for the title at points. Do you think the main event picture is too small in terms of the main event contenders like Jericho, Cody, Hangman? Do you think it's I don't know.
It depends on how they do it. Like right now, I don't think that I think they're making sure the main title programs are prolonged a little bit so that they don't have to fall into that pitfall. And hopefully they're building up the guys like Joey and Darby in the meantime. So I don't think it's too small, no, because I think you got Hangman, you got Kenny, you got Cody.
Is Pac
Darby?
Is Pac a contractually like salaried wrestler now?
I don't think he's like a full time, but he's part of the company because he still wrestles in Japan and stuff. So I don't think he's full time. No.
I want to go check back on Pac's win-loss record in 6 months and see like what it's like, because I feel like it's going to be win, draw.
I'm more interested in this more than ever now. Is it Pac or Pac?
It's Pac.
But
Wait,
on-
no,
on
it's
the
Pac.
sh- but
It's Pac. It's Pac. Sorry.
Pac.
It's Pac.
Okay. It's
Whatever
always-
they said on TV, because Jim Ross said that he specifically
Asked
asked
him.
him,
Oh, okay.
how is it pronounced, so he would
Beautiful.
say it right on TV, and
Great.
the way he says it on TV is how
Pac.
Pac
Okay.
told him it is.
Yeah, but he also calls Jungle Boy Jungle Jack every single time he's in the ring.
And
But that's intentional.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cute then.
Yeah.
I was like, do you know his name? Right?
No, like
we
he
all know
doesn't.
his name.
It's a
right?
nickname.
That
for him.
also was another one that he went off about on his podcast, where he basically
did
was
he?
like,
Yeah, and then-
he basically said he feels like Jungle Boy is a better nickname than it is
Okay.
a name.
But it-
That
and for
checks
a
out.
wrestler, and so like he's trying to help him get Jungle Boy over by it being like a nickname. And so when I had Jungle Boy in here this week, I interviewed him and I asked him about it, and he was like, honestly, dude, he was like, I know that I've always not wanted to, make fame off of my last name or anything like that. He's like, but I feel like I've made it now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like because I'm on TV,
Yeah, 100%.
like I did make it here on my own talents. And so if Jim Ross thinks that calling me Jungle Boy Jack or Jungle Boy Jack Perry is gonna make me more like better, I'm cool with it.
Let me
Like,
trust JR.
yeah, like, yeah, I'm
It
gonna
is
trust
a better
JR.
name. It is a better
It's a
name.
way better name.
I love Jungle
Perry.
Jack.
Because even when he
yeah.
first started, when we did that story, when we talked about
Right.
it 2 years ago, when we first started talking about Jungle Boy, when I went to that show of his, he was Jungle Boy Nate Coy, if I recall. So back then it was a nickname. He just changed his name altogether so that it wouldn't look like he was Luke Perry's son.
Nick who?
It was Jungle Boy Nate Coy, if I
Well,
recall.
it will always
Nate.
look like he's Luke Perry's son because his face.
Totally.
Gorgeous.
But yeah,
little
no, I
boy.
get that. Okay, good.
That
I like
hair,
that.
man. When he was in here, I was just
So
thinking, like, God, I wish I
beautiful.
could have hair like
I
that.
didn't-
Even everybody comments on it. Even Moxley was like during their photo shoot for like EW or something like that. He was just because they were standing next to each other and there was like an outtake in between shots. He was just like, I just want to say that Jungle Boy's hair smells phenomenal right now.
I bet it does. I bet it does. And I know that this is not really part of this show, but it just makes me so happy to see him and Marco tag together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I
Wow. I understand. I called it. First time I saw Marco on the Indies, I was like, he's going to be on TV in like less than a year. And
You
then
know
it
what,
was.
though? I will say
love
that I
him.
liked on BTE this week. I liked the idea of giving him a dinosaur mask.
That was cute.
If they're going like in that direction,
That'd be great.
I feel like when it comes to the believability factor, right? That it's easier to believe that this little boy has little dinosaur powers because of his mask than it is that this little boy can just kick out of Pentagon Jr.'s finisher. Like, I think I could more easily suspend my disbelief because
Sure.
he's got dinosaur powers. Kind of like I can suspend my disbelief for, an Invisible Man or, silly stuff like the sock stuff that Santino would do. Like, I think if I'm not supposed to take him seriously, I can, believe it a little better.
I don't know why I've never had that issue. I've never had the issue of not taking Marco Stunt seriously.
You know what it is?
Or not believing his moves. I don't know why. I understand he's smaller than
Yeah.
I'm 5'2", he's smaller than me. Like, I understand that it doesn't make sense. Again, physics, but
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think for me it's more.
Well, we talked about it a little bit a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
It pretty much that it's not so much a small guy wrestling. that is an issue because there have been plenty of people who have been not as small. He's probably the smallest one to date, but I mean, he's just a hair bigger than that green monkey thing that wrestles for AAA all the time. But it's not so much, like I said, it's not so much him being short as it is the moves he's doing.
And that they should kind of play up the fact that he is smaller, rather than, like, as far
He
as
should be
like
more slippery.
Yeah.
Well, Jungle Boy did say when he was
yeah.
here. Well, Jungle Boy did say when he was here, the reason that match basically played out the way it was because Luchasaurus got injured at 5:30.
absolutely,
Well,
yeah.
obviously, we know
It was
that.
like 5:30, and it was so like they had like a few hours.
Yeah,
and he
2.5
said they had already,
hours before
yeah,
the
that they had
show.
already planned out the whole match, and that like at the last second they just had to throw everything out the window and change all their plans, and so
It didn't read any less put. Oh, that's rude. Oh, it didn't read any less put together than the first match of this episode.
no,
You
sure,
know?
totally,
Yeah.
no, not at all. It's also for me with Marco. It's not that I can't believe it. It's that when I'm talking about some of these things, I also think in terms of like I want them to
capture the wider audience.
capture the wider
And they're
audience.
not
And
gonna
that's
believe it.
gonna make it
And I
hard,
think
yeah.
that someone Mark's done, like the hardcore fans will love it, but like.
It's
If
just
you're
not
only going to
packaged
be,
properly.
if you're only there for the hardcore fans, like you're not going to grow into being this like huge thing that's going to last forever. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just packaged improperly. Like, I mean, we see Darby Allin is not like he's not.
And
big.
we discussed that last
Yeah.
week. We
But
basically
the
said,
reason why Darby's a threat is because what's the scariest person is the person that doesn't care. I mean, the biggest adversary is the one that doesn't care about himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like,
God, he's cool.
yeah,
Oh my
he's the
God.
coolest. I have no problem with Darby. No, Darby Allin's the coolest. And I have
but-
no problem with Marco either. I was
me
just
either.
saying,
I want Marco to get as
Yeah.
much money as he can out
Yeah,
of this.
yeah,
But I'm
totally.
just saying, the reason why like people like Spike or Ray or any Nunzio, any of these smaller guys worked was because they played to that whole thing where they weren't out the gate with a lariat and then a drop kick
Yep.
and then a Rana. They got beat up for a while.
Spike got the shit kicked out of him for
And
like
then they
20
cut-
minutes, and then he'd get like a cool acid drop
and then they
in.
catch them slipping somehow, and then they win like a roll up. Or
We're not really seeing any. Well, maybe I'm wrong, and please tell me if I am. But I can't really recall any tropes that are being overly utilized in AEW. There's no like big man shit. Like there's no, like no cells.
the biggest guy on the roster is Luchasaurus.
Yeah,
I think the only trope I could think of is the lack of rules. Like that's the one
Yeah.
is that like it's hard to
I
grasp.
only noticed that during tag matches.
It is only during tag
Yeah.
matches.
I mean, is that okay?
Well,
According to Twitter, yes.
I find myself okay with it in the moment, and then I'm like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you over there?
And also because like the hot tag, like things like
Yeah.
that, you cut those out if you're not following the rules.
Well, we didn't even talk about the hot tag that nobody heard this episode, which was during the SCU they had Jericho walking up the steps, so the entire audience
Yes.
was looking at
They
Jericho.
missed the hot tag because of it.
And then Scorpio Sky is getting his ass kicked the entire match, and then he finally gets the hot tag, and nobody reacts because nobody sees it.
Yeah.
What is that timing?
Dude, I saw X-Pac was a little unhappy with some of the tag matches too, where he was kind of he was kind of like, hey, if you get your ass kicked the whole time and then you do the comeback yourself, you literally just like screwed over your partner's whole point in the match.
Yeah.
Like it was
what he wrote was perfect.
I
thought-
worded it wrong, but
he was just talking about like the ideology of a hot tag, and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, that's exactly it.
totally.
But
Yeah.
like we were talking about tropes and big guys. We got a video package from Wardlow,
we did.
Ooh.
and he's
We
gonna be a
did.
big boy.
I didn't really like that package
I
that
didn't
much.
either. I preferred the other one where he's
Me too.
beating people up in the
I love that
parking
one when he
structure.
was
So
like
is he
Brian Cage.
He hasn't done. He's on the Indies. I'm
He's an
assuming.
indie guy,
but,
yeah.
but has he been anywhere in particular?
Not that you would not like to like the bigger indies that I can
Okay.
think of.
Where is he based? Like what
I
territory?
think the East Coast.
Oh, okay. That's why I don't know.
Okay, so here's another one. So then we had Cody, this whole Cody Jericho thing. So we already kind of brought it up a little anyway.
Which was fun.
What do you guys think about Cody having his own special entrance that like nobody else can do?
It's I don't know. I
It's
mean,
a
if
bit much.
if I ran a company, I don't know. It's very. I don't know. It's kind of like you kind of laugh at it from looking on the outside, but then like
totally.
when you're given the opportunity, like bro, you could come up through the stage doing this shit, like if you want, and they're like. damn, why wouldn't I do that?
Right,
You know?
yeah.
I agree. I
sure.
agree. If you're gonna have your own executive bathroom, then just do it. You
Yeah.
know, like
I
sure.
hope that's
really do
his,
it.
that is his executive bathroom.
Yeah.
He gets
And
lifted
he
up.
just gets lifted up afterwards. He gets a
dude
nice
got
little poop out
full-
before. And then he,
Dude was
That's
cutting
a dream for me.
I was gonna say Kevin's
Oh, man.
eyes lit up like God, the dream I never knew I wanted.
I mean, dude had full pyro entrance for cutting a promo. Like, you know, like,
They've got to start counting those dollars a little.
That
bit.
was why. Honestly, that's why I laughed. He got the special entrance
full
where the
pyro,
where
not
the
just a
chandelier
few
comes
sparklers.
up.
The fire coming up, the
Full-
sprinklers coming, the shower of sparks coming down.
He might as well have done his little dark Undertaker thing where like the lights go out and then he's in the ring too, so he can get them all out. You know, like all
When
the
do you,
pyro
how
things.
many times do you think they're gonna do that before it becomes like, okay, like we're enough of the teleporting? Like they do the teleporting spot a lot.
I did not
Yeah.
like when Cody was allowed to teleport. I'm like,
Everybody's
wait,
teleporting.
that's-
Orange Cassidy's teleporting. Like everybody is teleporting.
That's the problem that I have with this like Cody entrance stuff is not that it's bad, but I think that the what the implication of it is that here's the boss, like,
Yes.
here's the big bad. But if you're on the show as often as you are, that mystique is gone. Like we don't have a big bad. Like Cody is an amazing boss, and like being that VP character and with the suit and the all of it is wonderful. But we're not going to get the same feeling as when Vince McMahon comes strutting down
Right.
the ramp because we don't see him every episode.
Yes.
And if we continue to see Cody as much as we are, which I'm torn about because I appreciate what they're doing with building him up as the boss man, but I also really want to see him wrestle. So like, yeah, I can't. My brain is so split.
Well, people are gonna say like they're gonna hate this, but like they need an authority figure. Like I knew you were gonna be the one that shrugged at that. But
I never understood people that hated authority figures on that
neither.
because it's a great basis
it
for
doesn't
a story.
and it doesn't have to be a heel authority figure. Like there can be like Teddy
Gorilla
Long was a
Monsoon.
great, yeah, Gorilla Monsoon. Like William Regal. William Regal's great, and he doesn't mess with anything.
That's true.
It's
'Cause
good to
he's-
have one person there that makes the rules because we all as viewers know there's 4 of them.
Because of you're right. Because of Will and Regal is maybe the most unique one because that's been out there for a while because he's not out there.
No, he's just
a back
comes
and
when he needs to lay down the
video
law.
package comes up. He's like, I just decided to make a match.
That's the part of wrestling that I feel is still like kayfabe intact. Like when you hear the stories of William Regal like behind the curtain at Balor, like stuff like that, where you're like just a peek behind the curtain and he's enigmatic. And we don't have that with there's no enigma there. So yeah, I can't do the big entrance every time anymore. I think it's gonna have to chill.
It should be Arn Anderson.
Ooh.
Like it should. I mean, I don't know if he's like he's not there yet, but like
I mean, it would
He
be
did
like
that
one of
one
those
appearance.
guys that's like no bullshit.
yeah,
Like
he's the enforcer.
Yeah.
You need someone to handle the business.
Yeah, that's actually really
Just
good
an
point,
Arn
yeah.
Anderson.
he'd
You
be
know,
fun.
like
He'd be fun.
that's what makes it the most sense to me. So then Cody comes out. He makes his big elaborate entrance. Jericho interrupts from the suites. We've seen him in Inner Circle in the suite all night. They're doing the horns, and Jericho has a mic, and he keeps cutting them off.
Ortiz and them. What nationality are they?
They're
Puerto
Puerto
Rican.
Rican, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And so they're doing like from the song, like what's the gasolina kind of thing?
Yeah, the air horn.
The air horn. There we go.
Air
That's the
horn.
word I'm
DJ
looking
air
for.
horn.
And then Cody he name drops the WWE thing where he says like, "This isn't like the other company. There's
other
not
place.
like the other place."
I could step out into the people.
Which I didn't understand necessarily because they do that in
I was
WWE.
like, their biggest stars came through the end of
That's
the
what
fence.
Also, you clearly can't because like you did it and you caused a huge distraction. For
And then you got
everybody.
kicked out of
Yeah.
you got kicked out of your own show.
There's some things
What
where
are you
like
talking about, buddy?
I think like also just Jericho and the Inner Circle coming through, going, "We have tickets. We have tickets. You work here. You work here. Why do you need the
You're the
tickets?"
champion of the company.
At least like when you'll see that in WWE,
Because they were, like, kicked
it's 'cause they were
away.
like kicked out,
Kicked
or
out,
were like,
yeah.
well, I bought a ticket, you can't kick me out now.
That's the point.
I think that's the same vibe they were going for though,
But it
because
doesn't make sense.
Cody is the
Makes
boss,
sense.
so Cody could kick them out. But they're like,
But it
no,
didn't happen.
you
It
can't.
You know
We
why?
have tickets." Like,
Because
they
there's no
preemptively-
backstage segments. That's why. You couldn't know that because there's no backstage segments.
I agree. That would have been helpful to have. Yeah.
I wish that they would chill with the other place
Yes, absolutely,
But,
100%.
and I think selfishly, and I don't, whatever with the whole talking about each other, whatever. But selfishly for me, like, Monday Night Wars didn't end up great for the other guy. Like, don't keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Don't try to redo this because it didn't end up well for the other people.
And you're representing the one who lost.
Exactly. So, like, maybe do something different. Don't repeat history.
I've been saying that this whole time.
It's
I've
just,
said this whole time. Where it's like, why do you want to be the people representing the losing team trying to come back?
also you're isolating me. Like, I still watch WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, every time you say that, it makes me feel like I'm like sitting at the cool kids table, but like I didn't wear the right outfit or something.
I mean, that's their whole thing.
Your
Where they're
outfit's fine,
like,
don't
oh,
worry.
we're
Thank
not.
you so much.
We're
My
not.
back shirt.
What is it? I haven't caught anything, but since they've gone to USA, has NXT made any reference to them? I don't think
No.
so.
No, not that
No,
I can.
hell
not,
no.
Not
Not
that
at
I
all.
can.
No.
I mean, well, when's WWE
Well,
ever reference anybody?
I mean,
you know?
aside from
they're
Triple H
doing-
will make cite things that he'll say, but that's
But not really, no.
What
No.
NXT is doing is they're showing, not telling. So they're not referencing AEW, but the actions that they're doing, their behavior is very reactive to AEW. Like, bringing everybody back to NXT is a clear ploy to be like, we are too the wrestling show. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, no, it's true. You're right, though.
It just doesn't go with their whole mantra that they keep repeating that they're not in a competition, that they're an alternative. But are you? Are you really?
You gotta,
like when
you've
you-
done 4 episodes.
If you break up with your boyfriend and then you keep talking about him, you're not over him.
Yeah.
So prove that you're over him and, dye your hair or something.
make Lizzo proud.
That's what I do.
Make Lizzo proud.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, we just want them to be 100% that bitch.
So then Jericho points out the numbers advantage, and then Team Cody joins Cody.
Slowly comes out one
we've
by
got
one.
Dustin,
Yeah.
MJF getting another face pop again for some reason. Then we get Dustin, and then we get DDP.
I love his Titantron video. It's just him teaching DDP yoga. Like no wrestling. So we don't own any of that footage. So
Honestly, DDP could be a good authority figure.
I think he'd be great.
He'd
Oh,
be
he
a great
could
one
be
too.
like a peaceful one.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I would
You
love
have
that.
to do backstage ones of him doing yoga, DDP yoga with people.
Yeah,
And
I would
also,
love that.
he technically has been a huge behind-the-scenes part of AEW since he has let them use his entire yoga studios, like his whole production office, to do all their stuff. Like,
I don't know,
like
man.
TNT didn't even get AEW an office. Their office is DDP's office that he's just
Pretty
letting
much.
them
Yeah.
use.
I mean,
It is. No, not pretty much. It is. Like that's
Yeah.
where they're doing all their stuff.
It's weird because he is DDP just was like namaste at home.
Yeah.
Like
Good
he's,
for him. Good for him. He deserves a little stay. At home.
So then they go up there, they go into the suite, but Dastardly Inner Circle is hidden behind glass in their suite, which I've stayed in the suite before. You don't get your own little extra closet that has a glass thing there, but whatever.
Scan it.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe sure, that's a good point. So then they're in there, but I love that they've been doing sugar glass stuff because it does look cool. Like,
Yeah.
not everyone knows that it's fake glass, so it looks cool.
Yeah,
I just
people-
like MJF being like, here's my. Here's
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
and
were
he
a fan
it
of
was
that.
great.
People loved that.
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And MJF posted a photo today of his scarf with a Band-Aid on it. He said she's okay.
I just don't like that they're having people cheer for MJF. I'm hoping that it's just set up a
It is.
even more
What do you
dastardly
mean?
heel
Of
turn.
course it is.
But like, I don't think that we needed to build that sympathy. But whatever, I'll get off of that.
Yeah,
but like,
dude, you're tripping. They needed to because it's a new TV show. They need to establish this
that
kid.
he's a good guy.
Yeah, sure.
I don't get good guy vibes.
I
as
don't
much
get
as
good
I
guy
like,
either.
Lovable goof vibes.
I get
But
kiss
that's-
ass.
That's actually maybe worse.
I get
worse.
I get
I know.
kiss
That's
ass.
so much worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's goofy. Like,
I don't
maybe
get-
not goof because, like I'm a goof. That's like, oh, I'm fun and whatever. But he's goofy. Like, he's silly.
Yeah,
Like when I'm
But I
at,
and
like
he's like
that.
supposed to be an absolute dickhead.
Well,
Right.
I see it as a guy
Dickheads are
who's.
goofy. Joffrey's goofy.
I see him as being like somebody who clearly sees what he needs to do to get to the top of the company, and that's be friends with the boss, and that's what he's doing.
I mean,
Whatever. Fine.
that's not.
So
not
then they
true.
fight. Then they fight.
I mean, he's clearly kissing ass because even like when he was walking to the ring with the DDP and Dustin, he did the diamond upside down thing.
Also, in the package from last week, he was throwing shade at Cody in a way that seemed supportive, but was not. And I know shade, so I know that they're building something.
All right. And then we had the fight in the concessions area, which I loved. I liked the good guys got their
Dippin' Dots, my God.
and the
baby.
Dippin' Dots. Yeah, honestly, that was hilarious.
I wonder what flavor Dippin' Dots he went into.
If
They
it's,
all just want.
Maybe banana split.
No, there's
so many flavors.
It's the ice cream of the future, Rachel.
I don't know. They always stick to my tongue, and I'm not here for it.
Really?
Yes.
Anti-Dippin' Dots?
I have bled every time I've eaten. Is that
Wait,
weird?
What?
Yeah.
Every time I eat Dippin'
You have a
Dots,
dry ass
I
tongue?
bleed. No, not really.
How's that even possible?
I drool all the time.
Well,
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll call my doctor.
You're
or
pro
something.
Dippin' Dots, right?
I'm like, I'll eat it when it's like there. So I'm like into it when I'm
Can't
having
come
it.
to work, ice cream
but
injury.
like I won't like. There's at 7-Eleven now sells it, and I'm not like I'm gonna get some Dippin' Dots. So I'm gonna get like a
gotta
Magnum
try
bar
again.
or something.
What about you, Jamie?
I love it, but I don't
I
love.
assume.
I love Dippin' Dots, but I don't like the ones they sell at like grocery stores that are like in the packets.
They're too small.
Yeah, they're too small.
too small.
They're way too small.
They're so small.
I've
And
only ever
sometimes and they don't they freeze wrong, so sometimes they get all bunched up
bunched.
together
That's
in one
true.
big chunks.
That's the only experience I've ever had is that.
But those are the pouches.
never- yeah, those
Not
are the
like
pouches.
From,
Pouches-
from the stand, they're
Yeah.
great.
Okay,
when they,
well,
stand
when
is
the
way
fresh
better.
pour into the cup, yeah, they're
I
great.
will. Okay, I got
Jamie's a fair food boy, and I like that about you.
I am.
he's like, well, you got a fried Coca-Cola? Let me try it.
So they had that. Then we had Best Friends versus Young Bucks. Young Bucks win. I thought it was a really good match. I just felt like it wasn't necessary.
I just love having Best Friends and Orange Cassidy on TV every week
Yeah.
because I love Excalibur trying to explain what they are to Jim Ross. It's my favorite thing every week because it's so funny because he'll say it and Jim will just be like, so he's lazy.
No, he's cool.
My thing, one thing with like Chucky T is that I love Chucky's Twitter. I think it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Great.
But I also sometimes I'll read it. I'm like, is it good that you don't care? Sometimes like is it good that you come
I'll
off
read
as,
it and go
like,
something
dude,
like,
'cause
that
Jay-
guy might be depressed.
Because
Yeah.
JR
I
got
know.
so mad when they did the hug spot. He's like, nobody's covering. He's
Jay-
like, why are they going for a hug? Nobody's covering.
JR was so mad so many times throughout this episode because you could tell they said before, stress the importance of time limits. And so JR, they were like, time limits, great. But then every time they do like a big move and not cover, he was so mad that he was selling how important it is for a time limit.
Goddamn time
And he's
limit.
like,
You
not
gotta
covering people.
He's like, just try to win a match here, guys.
so many times throughout the show. Like, is he going to cover them? Is he going to cover the person he's in a match? He's going to move. What are you doing?
And he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
No, he's not wrong.
when Orange Cassidy hits his super kicks,
Yeah.
and when he does it the first one, and then the fact that he looks over to the other young buck and he goes, like he points and then does it, I'm like, just nothing. It's all great.
I'm so happy that I'm not tired of that gimmick yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah, it's
definitely
great.
not yet. Yeah,
I'm
me too.
so happy about it
then
because
one-
every week I'm like, is it this week? It's not this week.
He did say something that was really funny to me when he did the dive to the outside with his hands in his pocket. He's like, I think he has the bottoms taken out of his pockets.
He's been saying that for like the past when he's around.
So what does that mean? He holds onto his legs with his fingers?
or
when
his
he's
dick.
doing-
He just like, holds onto his dick for dear life.
I will say, at least with that spot this time,
What's the point of it? What's the point of no pocket bottoms?
I at least like it felt like they saw the criticism of like the referees staring at interferences because at least when Orange Cassidy did it this time, Chuck Taylor was like hugging
hugging
Knox,
Knox, yeah.
Knox, so he wasn't staring right at the interference
was
that
like,
was going on in
bless
front
you.
of him.
Bless you
Me
for
too.
that.
Yeah.
Me too, because I was mad about it before. So I just felt like there were already 2 other tag matches in this show, and it just kind of felt like
It was very tag heavy
it
this
was
show.
very taggy, and they were all 15 minutes. I just felt like you can do a shorter match. Like, it's okay. Like, because if they're all the matches are 15 minutes on TV, then what do we look forward to in the pay-per-views?
60% of the matches on Raw don't even start. Like they just start and then there's a brawl and then the bell starts ringing.
Also, like, what am I supposed to find important? Like, what I'm struggling to see is which match is the important one, because we have this hometown match with Britt.
Yeah, but Baker, that seems so
was
quick.
Buried. Well, because it was buried after this huge chaotic
Right.
hubbub. And then we're like, hometown Britt Baker. And I love her.
Yeah,
you know?
me too.
Doctor. She's a doctor.
She is a doctor.
Marry me.
They have said it many times on the program.
And
Wait,
they need to change her.
Oh, no, it's like The
entrance again.
Hangover. He's a doctor. He's a dentist.
All right, let's chill on that. Yeah, he's a dentist. I do need to stop saying the X-ray of the teeth.
When she said doctor,
Yeah, I don't like it
I was
either.
thinking Hangover only.
Or when her-
I'm not demeaning Britt Baker by any means.
Or when
but-
her Titantron says open wide in the thing, you're like, okay.
I kind of wish that they would do like if they do like a new package for her video, that they should have like shots of her doing the her whatever her finisher is, and where it like shows like a close up like Mortal Kombat of like their jaw getting
I'd
broken.
be into that.
God,
That'd be kind of
wouldn't-
cool.
Oh.
You know, I actually the Britt Baker thing, even that one, I felt like went too long. Like I was like, why do we need
Especially
to see?
when it was somebody new that
who
we,
not anyone that's even part of the company? You
Yeah.
can have a
was
squash
cool.
match.
She was cool though. I liked her.
She was fine,
She
but
was
like
cool.
it was like let
She did a
someone,
wet willy.
Let someone
yeah.
shine.
She did a wet
Like,
willy.
I think they try to make her feel like she was important just for that Brandi spot afterwards.
Yeah, but if everybody is on equal playing field,
I know.
then nobody
Yeah.
is important. Then
I know.
more important than the other.
I'm just waiting for the one person she has a spot, some sort of a feud with. It's like, hey, fuck flossing. It's like I don't floss for shit.
It's
what are you gonna
hard.
do about
It's
it?
scary.
You mentioned the Brandi thing, though. What the hell? What did you guys think of that?
Okay, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. That's the
I
thing.
don't know.
And
I don't know.
I'm kind of okay with it because I don't know what it is.
I just like all your. I hope anyone watching on YouTube or people were watching on YouTube because your faces are so funny right there. Like you all were just like.
It's not so much that it was bad.
No, it's not
It's
at
just
all.
there wasn't any context. I
Yeah.
feel like I was joining a conversation that had already been started.
She was,
Well,
was she pointing at her head? Yeah, like,
She was like, "Oh, I want to tell you what this is about,
But
but nah,
nope.
I'm not gonna."
I'm gonna give you a little.
If she just booped her at the end, I'd be like, "Okay, now I get it."
I get
Now
it.
I get it.
It's-
Also, what
you
did
have
you
an
guys,
eyelash right there.
Fall in love.
and what did you guys think about them showing Adam Cole in the video package for Britt Baker?
I didn't even notice
I didn't
that.
notice
They
that.
did.
No.
They did. They showed Adam Cole like
Come
with
on.
her. Like I was like, that's not cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
It was like they were showing her in Pittsburgh and like how like she loves Pittsburgh and goes to all the sports games and then
wouldn't?
one of the pictures when they're showing her going to sporting events like her and Adam Cole standing there like in Steelers gear I think.
Zoinks.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they didn't need to do that.
I'm
you
assuming
don't want
they
to Robbie
didn't.
McAllister,
Well,
Adam
I
Cole.
mean, she's not
Right.
going to the games by herself.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a picture that didn't have Adam Cole in there.
You don't think she's got a shot of her like with the field behind her with the jersey on? Like, come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
If anything, to me, it felt like they were like, well
Well,
they
then
showed Britt Baker on Takeover when she was sitting next to Stephanie, so like we could show Adam Cole. That's the vibe I got from it. Of like, oh,
It's so tit for tat.
That's how I
Everything is
felt.
so tit for tat.
So
it's
much
wild.
tit.
Yeah, dude.
So,
Yeah, bro.
Like just a little bit
So
of
much
tit.
tit.
So much tit.
So much little tat.
And then we had
Very
Pac
little
versus
tat.
John Moxley. This one, I saw very divisive.
Yeah.
It was a very divisive finish. It felt like because people were very on the back and on different sides of this one.
We just know why. Like
so-
we just get it.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
Pac kicks out of the paradigm shift, and then the time runs out. I felt like in order to do the time limit thing, you have to have established the time limit stuff a little better. What do you got there?
No, just the championship
match card,
wrestling
baby.
just posted
Oh
it.
yeah, Jamie. That's next weekend, right?
Jamie's a
Not the
goddamn
third.
wrestler.
The third.
I am a competitor.
Jamie's a competitor.
That's right.
And he weighs a healthy or what was
A
it?
delicious
amount of corn dogs.
If I do that, you got to give me something. Like the fact that I did it on television.
We'll give you a delicious amount of corn
Yeah,
dogs.
we'll give you some corn dogs. Yeah, exactly.
We'll
She
be-
got a tie for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
that's true.
I wonder if a Young Bucks money cannon. There is a cannon
That
of.
seems, no, that seems very
Corn
dangerous.
dogs. We just shoot
You see on the news in Port Hueneme today, a bunch of people had their eyes poked out by corn dog
One
cannon.
man caught one in his mouth, though, and it's me going,
I don't know what everybody's talking about. I thought that was great.
why did he have mustard prepared in his mouth already?
It's just social Darwinism.
Yeah, there you go.
I survived the corn dogs.
Yeah, I just felt like they haven't established the time limit stuff enough. It felt like it was really they stressed it heavily this episode on purpose so that it would make sense for the finish.
There's not a lot of foresight. Like it doesn't feel like they're writing it. Feels like they're check to check. Like
Yes.
It doesn't feel like they're writing forward. They're just like we heard in this episode so much time talk for the first time, and then all of a sudden, it ends in a draw because of the time. Like, I see what you're doing. It's like coughing at work and then the next day calling in sick. Like, we get it.
Yep.
We see what you're doing here.
You know
Yeah.
my secrets?
I've been talking to your boss.
No, I completely agree on the foresight side of things. I also think that like they're so focused on not looking like they're letting someone look lesser than that they end up making people look more or less than they realize.
That is the most millennial thing in the whole world of like a participation trophy.
Yeah.
But here's my problem is that I love a participation
As
trophy.
do I.
Those are the only trophies I got.
Look,
But no, I do agree
makes
there
me feel
needs to be
good.
higher stakes.
Well, it's just like,
Because to be
to
fair,
me it felt like they did this draw because they wanted to make Pac look like he was on equal footing of Moxley. But Moxley not being able to be smart enough to put Pac away sooner, or the fact that he can't beat
Here's what
Pac
I
and
think.
isn't winning and stuff. To me it makes him look less cool now, and it's demeaning the guy who was like the game changer for
Yeah.
you guys.
well, here's
The
my
Fonz.
my opinion is that I think they screwed the timing up on the ending. I think the show was supposed to run out right after he hit the
paradigm shift.
The paradigm shift, yeah.
Oh.
And that the time was supposed to end in the middle of the count. That's why he kicked out of his finisher.
That's
you
so
know?
funny. You stress about time too much, and then you have all this time. at
Because
the
think
end.
about it, they're like,
It's
we're out of
possible.
TV time, but let's focus on John Moxley being mad for a minute and a half. You know,
That was
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense when they were like, we're out of TV time.
Here's some
Linger,
more
linger,
TV
linger,
time.
linger,
that
linger,
like
linger.
90s cam where he like got in the face of the camera. I'm like, yeah.
I was
look
at least
at
hoping
you,
that he was
bad
in the
boy.
paradigm shift, the camera guy, because that would have been a good out.
then they definitely are out of TV time.
Yeah.
You're out of TV time. I'll show you out of TV, and then he does that. That'd be great.
But I will say, I do like the idea of time limits being
Yeah.
established
Yeah.
again. Like I'm not anti-time limits being
But-
established. I just think that they need to establish all of their rules more, like the tag rules. Everyone's confused by them.
Yeah.
The time limit, you need to firmly establish that that's a thing that you have said in every match. This 20-minute time limit, I don't think they said that before every match. I could be wrong, but I don't feel.
I've
saying
heard
it,
Justin
yeah.
say time limit a few times.
But it should be every
I
time.
don't recall. I haven't.
You know what
I
I do
heard
remember
the only-
Justin saying is,
I need there to be 4 Johns in the company. So he has a different John because you know where he got that John? It was from his John Cena.
Yeah, of
call.
course.
Right.
He said it. He literally said they used to give me crap for dragging that out for too long, so I'm going to do it for even
and
longer
Justin,
now for
my
Moxley.
2 favorite calls in terms of when he was with the company WWE had was for John Cena and The Undertaker. Undertaker.
I love Justin Roberts.
Why
so
would you not?
Yeah, Justin Roberts. I think that was a great call. They brought him on board.
I think it's great. Yeah.
It's like, why would you not want an announcer that'll do the extra work and like actually
It's
be
fun.
interested and invested in
Totally.
who he's introducing?
I mean, more or less, they're a mascot, so
Yep.
better be
Yeah.
enthusiastic in a good way. That felt like it was shady, but it's not. Mascots are very important.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Thank
mascots
you.
that are very popular in the NBA.
Yeah, they
They're
made
probably
it.
the only NBA players that Ryan knows of, so that's probably it.
I couldn't name one mascot or NBA player.
Well, you probably could describe
Chris
it,
Bosh.
but- yes, the Lakers.
Laker.
Wait, hold on. Why is you're a Clippers fan?
Yes, I can't tell you.
Why
Can't tell you why it's a condor.
Yeah, why?
Can't tell you. Don't know.
What was it, Ryan? I don't get it either.
I just started
no,
Yeah.
we're just talking
Basketball.
about
No, I got it. I know
the
what you're talking
Clippers mascot is a condor.
He's a condor.
What's that?
like
bird.
a vulture
Like a vulture
bird
bird.
thing.
Yeah, okay.
What's the Laker mascot?
They don't
There
have
is
one.
no one. It's the Laker girl.
Oh, they're the
Ooh.
mascots.
They don't really count.
I mean,
Shout out to
Everybody-
AFC
Hold
on
on.
that one.
they're the reason I go to the shows.
No,
so.
everybody's got a cheerleader.
The shows.
Not the games. That's why I go to the
Shows.
I love
You
it.
really
I
call the
love
Laker game a
intermission.
show?
Wow.
Yeah, intermission is
Wow.
my favorite part of any basketball show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like. Do you remember
I love going to the basketball
Dude,
show.
me
Do you
too.
The
remember?
basketball match.
Do you remember in The Simpsons when Apu's trying to pretend that he's been a citizen the entire time? He's like, the Nye Mets are my favorite baseball squadron. Baseball squadron.
9 Mets.
All right, let's move on to NXT.
Some more sports
NXT
entertainment.
kicked off with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair.
Great match.
Yeah.
So good.
Both
Yeah.
of them delivered.
I mean, those two are such powerhouses right now, and both. Rhea wrestled in Australia, but really came in her own in NXT. So it was cool to see like two women who are kind of like NXT homegrown kind of.
God, I want to
talent.
see Rhea and Shayna so bad.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
I want to see them go at
Yeah.
it because they are going to kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They
yeah,
are
yeah.
two tough women.
I'm really wondering what. They're setting up something with the women's division right now in NXT.
Yeah,
We kinda-
'cause
we
you
touched
notice
on it
that they
last
haven't-
know
week.
what it is.
And it's
Because they haven't really pigeonholed themselves with any
No.
specific two people.
No.
It's a bunch of them.
it's yeah.
But that's what it feels like AEW is doing too. It feels like everybody is throwing spaghetti at a wall right now. Like everybody's just saying like, "Oh,
So I should do a
which one do
spaghetti.
you like? Okay, cool. We'll move forward with that." I
Yep.
don't know.
That
It
is how you
doesn't-
do a spaghetti.
That's not how you should eat spaghetti.
That's how you eat spaghetti. That's how you cook spaghetti.
That's how you-
Obviously.
I know we shouldn't eat
How
it.
You got to
do
throw it at a
cook
wall.
You can throw it at the wall.
I don't ever do that.
But that's what you do to cook spaghetti.
I know.
He's never eaten spaghetti.
You never
before.
cooked spaghetti.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
You're a
you
liar.
didn't do
we all
that?
know it.
No, I didn't.
How'd you know it was
Wow.
done?
I've done it before.
And
but
you're
I
actually
don't do it all
supposed
the
to
time.
stir the meat sauce with your feet.
Oh, do that.
You could get paid a lot of money for doing that. On the internet.
No, I
sure you
can't.
could.
You can.
No, you probably could too. You'd be
There's a market
surprised.
for everybody.
Yeah, there is a market for
Tell me more about
everything.
these markets because I've been curious.
Literally, I
I
can.
was like, I will dip my feet in meat sauce for some extra cash. Great match, man. That just so many athletic things they did in the match, like when Rhea threw Bianca and she just flipped out of it. But man, when they did that like Sparta boot, like from
Yeah.
what's-
Kicked her right in the stomach.
Yeah, right.
300.
What's the movie?
300.
300. That was so cool, and the way Bianca sold it, where she just like it looked like The Rock getting a stunner, where she just like flipped
Yeah.
out afterwards.
Yeah, you got kicked out of the air. Like
so
midair.
good.
And well, I just had another. I had it, but you brought the 300 thing, so I tried to find like what was the name.
Sorry.
Of it.
He was like
But
CGI.
I like
six
that
packs.
EO is still involved. She got involved at the end, and she distracted.
Can we just have
Candace.
Bianca put a wire in her hair so she can recreate her 2K20 entrance? Just have it just pointy and different.
Well, the usually traditionally NXT has like those Halloween battle royals. So maybe she'll just do that. That'd be hilarious.
I'm just my glitchy ass character.
That's so funny.
When I got the game,
Go as your glitch.
when I got the game the other day, I was like, maybe it was just like a.
Nope.
Maybe just the Bianca thing was like a bad render or like
a capture before the game was
before
finished.
the game was finished, and the people who were reviewing it got an early copy, and so like maybe I'll pick Bianca, and like I picked her, and then she
And
comes
sure
out,
enough-
and it's like a stick out from her head,
Which
and
is
I'm like,
crazy
oh,
because
man.
I was thinking, I was like, maybe this is just the first, because she does have crazy hair. Maybe they just don't know how to do it.
But she was in the last
last
game,
and
yeah.
you did it right.
Yes.
It's just how are we living in a time where The Last of Us and 2K20 come out at the same year and look like this? Like, what is
Totally.
that? Did you see Renee's face?
Yeah, bad.
Well,
I like that she was like,
they
"They
never
always
do
do
the
it
announcers.
dirty."
To be fair, they never do the announcers, right? Because that's the least amount of time they spend.
and the career mode usually always sucks. I'm
But
sorry.
but
Like the
you're
story
still-
always sucks.
Sure, all of this is sure and true, but you're still selling a product and you're okay with that?
Totally.
Like, you're okay with selling somebody for a lot of money that thing, and then it looks like that?
And you know that they knew it was going to suck because this was the least amount of
There's-
footage they've ever shown of the game
The
beforehand.
marketing was very, very short.
Like it was
Yes.
like they started talking about the game as late as possible, and it's because they knew they were going to get roasted
There's
for.
clearly a mechanism issue. There's clearly a software issue because every time you try to do a combination, it's like people get stuck inside of the ropes or like their heads are inside of the under the ring. How is this
Are
happening?
we not getting jackets as serious as what's happening?
Probably not. But I mean,
No, look at I'm like the biggest 2K
All opinions
defender
are
on
right
the
side.
internet.
and Ryan are.
Like I
No
love
question.
it every
I used
year.
to be sponsored
I know.
by that.
Yeah.
I used to play for my but that's the thing. Here's the thing about it though. What I will say working with 2K in the past is that they're very open to criticism
Yes.
and
Yes.
comments, especially people who actively play their thing because I actively like playing
Yes.
2K.
That's why I finally said something this time because I was like,
it's too much.
it's too much. Like even me, like the fact that I'm mad while playing a tag team match. The whole fun of the tag team match is like when that I can control the other guy. So if they go to pin
Wait, you
me, I
can't
can. No, you can't control your tag partner.
Why are they taking things away?
I don't know. They're literally taking things away. I also maybe it's just my controller, but I've used both my controllers now, and my left bumper, right, the front one's the bumper, not the trigger.
Yeah.
The front one, I can pick things up, so it works.
Yeah.
I can't get on the apron.
It is like getting out of the ring is very spotty.
I literally can't get out of the ring when I
Yeah,
try.
it happens and it doesn't
I
happen.
have to throw someone out and then jump out onto them to
Oh,
get
no,
out of the ring.
I could get out, but it takes a few tries.
You could play with a rib though. So
and
that's
Ribby is awesome.
if you
That's,
think about it, like
what music does he use?
I
Just
don't know,
random generic?
but his Titantron says like too sweet and stuff
too,
on it.
2 sweet meat
cute.
or something like that. Yeah.
If you think about it, like the players that you're controlling have autonomy and are sentient, then that's kind of fun.
But
Then be like, oh, he doesn't want to climb the ropes. Okay,
like I'm getting
That's
pinned.
your choice.
I'm getting pinned, and he doesn't even run out and help me. I'm like, we're a tag team, dude.
that's his choice. You can't control him. That's his choice.
There are technically rules in regards to how many times you could come in and interfere and help save. Make a save.
I don't like that.
So I'm
Kevin
just,
Smith wearing
Nice.
a little bit of the bubbly shirt.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so then next we had Matt Riddle
He
versus.
still dresses like he's fat.
I know. Give him a
Next we
belt.
had Matt Riddle versus Cameron Grimes. I like that Riddle's using the jackhammer now.
Dude,
And he
so
got
real.
and those Riddle chants instead of
Riddle.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Riddle.
Love
Great.
it. Love it.
But I think it is even funnier that he's not using the jackhammer as a finish because
Totally.
it's
Right.
like this is clearly an inefficient move. That's what I always think. Like after he does the jackhammer and goes for that hook pin that Goldberg always does, but then the guy always kicks out. He's like, oh well, that's not as impactful as I thought it was.
I feel like also he was struggling a little bit in NXT initially to find a finisher. So I'm glad that the Bro Derek has kind of he's settled on that. I think it's a good name.
It's
got
a
good-
fantastic
yeah,
name.
It's a great name.
I can't. I have a hard time separating art from artist, and I have a hard time separating Twitter from Match. I can't stand his Twitter, and so every
Matt
time.
Riddle?
Yes, dude.
I love his Twitter.
It feels brazen to me.
That's why I love it.
Okay.
But it is brazen.
Maybe I just need to chill. Like I'm a little bit of like, oh, that's impolite. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh no, he doesn't give a fuck.
Oh,
no,
he super
don't give
doesn't
a
care.
fuck. Yeah, no.
Because he's like, I can legitimately fight anybody in the locker room. So what are they going to do?
Okay. No.
When I interviewed him at the Performance Center, he did kind of imply that they asked him to kind of like
Chill.
tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I've asked about like the tweets, and I'm like, is that a shoot? And people are like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, they're a shoot from
Yeah.
what I hear
Yeah,
usually. But yeah,
I like this a longer match for Cameron Grimes and
Good.
showed what he could do.
It showed. Hey, I'm not saying I am that Cameron Grimes fan all of a sudden now because I'm not, but. Nothing against the guy personally, but he's still the jury's still out in terms of if I'm invested in him or not. But he did show quite a bit.
Yes.
This most match, and this is a bugaboo of mine that I always have, whether it be like Kevin always noticing Braun Strowman's nipple come out. It's
Comes out a lot.
It does, yeah.
My thing is when wrestlers don't shave their armpits
okay.
because it just doesn't look right.
I like it sometimes.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
because everybody else doesn't have it.
I like hairy boy. I like a hairy boy.
I'm not talking
You know,
about your preferences.
I've never
No, but
noticed
that's
that
what
ever.
It is. It's your preference, you know.
I notice it often.
I don't think I ever pay attention to that.
I go, that guy looks like he shouldn't have his armpits shaved.
Because he was getting hooked and he was like that, And I was like, he's hairy already because he has the hairy chest and stuff.
Yeah.
But people have had hairy chests in wrestling before.
Yeah.
But I mean, the armpits, like that's interesting to be
He's
honest.
got a frayed bushel in there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess it's not fair. Like Rusev is like a good example of a manicured hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. And well, if it's not your gimmick to be that hairy, then maybe
Like,
But
Killian
that's
Dain.
kind of his gimmick.
Like
He is
Rusev's
kind of like this, like
no, Rusev's chest hair is a perfect T.
it's perfect. It's beautiful.
It's a T.
He's
he's
like-
got perfect. Dude, he's got perfect
He's
hair
Don't
like
say
that.
perfect.
boobs.
He's got a perfect
Well, he's got
chest.
perfect boobs.
He's got
So.
a perfectly haired chest.
Yeah.
He's perfect. Okay.
I did feel like I was watching a Reseda match a little bit.
Oh,
which was
absolutely. This was the
really
most
fun.
PWG
I think
vibe.
I've seen that match.
I even
Like,
I even said that in the text.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just a Reseda show tonight.
yeah, it really was, which I think is nice and good, and it's just some good wrestling.
Yep.
Like at the end.
Oh,
when
I
they-
loved.
Yeah.
Honestly, this was my match of the night. I loved the main event, but we have seen
You
Dominic
liked
Dijakovic.
Riddle and Grime and Cameron before more than Keith Lee and Roderick and Dojovic.
I love Matt Riddle and Keith. Or sorry, and Trevor Lee. I was gonna say that's why I said Keith Lee. Cameron Grimes. I'm like huge fans of both of them. So like I just personally like it was like two wrestlers that I love that were going against each other. So I was like super into it. I'm not saying it was the best match of the night. It was my personal favorite match of the night.
Because I'm sorry, that triple threat, even though we have already seen Keith Lee versus Dojovic like 100 times, I don't know. Like Dijakovic. I'm sorry.
Dozovic is Otis.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Come on. These are very hard names.
They sound almost exactly alike.
I didn't even think about it until he said that, but they really are very alike.
You just said two different names, and I couldn't tell you what they are.
Yeah, like if you gave me like a baseball card or something with I don't even know his fucking name anymore.
Doja Cat.
Dominic.
And there's another Dominic now because of damn Rey
Like
Mysterio's
I
son.
guarantee you, if somebody I was like, read that name for me. They wouldn't be like, Dijon mustard.
I could definitely hear like my coworkers
Deep
butchering
V.
that name.
Yeah.
'cause
Oh
it's-
yeah. No, the reason I liked it also is because I had been saying that like
I don't know, man.
if everyone's on equal playing fields, you don't know who's the important one. And I've kind of been feeling like they've been doing a really good job of like building up Cameron Grimes. And I kind of like that it was an intersect of lots of different things going on. Like I like
Yeah.
that it was like they've been building up Cameron Grimes, but he didn't necessarily beat Riddle because Riddle's one of the top guys. So that like that Cameron Grimes still has work to do to get up to Riddle's
and he
level.
gets knocked out by Tyler Bate.
Exactly,
ringside.
and then they use it to set up a thing with one of the the UK guys. So I liked all of that because it was very pro wrestling to me. Like it wasn't just a takeover match.
I loved it when they caught Pete Dunne coming coming to the parking lot. What are your thoughts on Killian Dain? I don't care about Killian Dain.
And you see Tyler Bate in the background go like,
Got him.
I like when they keep little things about the guy from their indie past, and then they just kind of twerk it, like tweak it and twerk it.
I like when they make Cameron Grimes twerk.
Twerks is great. I've seen it
that
happen.
hat.
I've seen it happen before. But the fact that he's a Carolina caveman, and so they changed his finisher to the cave in. And I think that's a little.
I like it.
That's a little cute
Is that
little-
the name of his foot stomp now?
Yeah, cave in.
I like that.
That's cute.
Little cute little
That's
thing.
cute.
little-
Cameron is the worst name of all time.
I get it because he's from North Carolina. It's kind of like Charlotte.
Cameron?
Yeah.
What?
It's city.
Oh, so
There's a
it's
city,
supposed.
Cameron.
Like the
Oh,
Hardy
I did
Boys.
not know that. I didn't
Right?
know
Is that where the
Cameron
Hardy
was
Boys
a
are from?
place.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just a really bad name, and if he only went by Grimes, that would be great.
I honestly think he will.
He'd
Well,
be married to Elon Musk.
Exactly. Exactly.
Maybe
I
Elon
would love that.
Musk's
And he comes
goth
out to
girlfriend.
Grimes. I would love that.
I like that I love that they're really just focusing on the hat.
They love the hat.
They're like, oh, people were a little off.
We
by
don't
the hat.
know why it's
We're
there, but god
focused on
damn
the
it, we're not
damn
getting
hat.
rid of it.
it's great. Honestly, it's helped him out so much. All he had to do is wear a stupid hat, and people are like, "What's with the hat? Who are you?"
Why are they focusing on the hat?
I hope he kind of evolves into some sort of like Felix the Cat type thing where he could just pull anything out of it.
Yeah.
Like, instead of Felix's yellow bag, he's just like mallet.
Kendo stick.
Next
Like
we
Mary
had,
Poppins.
Yeah,
Remember when she would
exactly.
bullshit like, where's all that coming from?
I would like that.
I would not be against that.
I want him to like make fire in the middle of the ring. Just knock
full
two
caveman
rocks together.
status?
Yeah, I mean, mean, if you're gonna do it.
Like in the start of Geico commercial. Right? Wasn't that Geico, right?
Yeah. That was, honestly, I had a really big fear of that commercial. I have a huge fear of anthropomorphization, specifically, like,
and
Animorphs.
the TV show.
Yeah,
like that.
you know Animorphs?
Okay.
Of course.
So, you know the, like, stage right before it's full animal?
Sure.
My worst fear. When something is
You mean
70,
on the books?
Yes.
Like it shows the.
I
Yes.
like
when
those.
something is like 75% human and 25% anything else, that fucks me up.
Oh, so you would hate the island of Dr. Moreau.
I actively hate the island of Dr. Moreau.
Other than the
never
fact that it's a
visits.
bad
I
movie.
love them. It's a great movie.
She'll
but
never
it's,
visit.
It's very. But what are we talking about?
That's a crazy thing to have a
It's my number
phobia
one- it's
over.
my
I
number
like
one
that. That's
fear.
irrational
Like-
fears are great because I have a stupid one.
What is it?
I'm afraid of cold spaghetti.
Wait,
Wow, that's why.
that explains everything.
No, I like spaghetti.
That's why you won't throw it at the
I
wall.
like spaghetti.
No, but that's why you. It's
that
too
you are
cold,
creating
you know?
your own fear.
I didn't want to talk about it earlier, and then this came up, and I was like, damn it.
I get it.
Explains everything
It
now.
does. Okay, it's like, damn, Kevin ate his spaghetti so fast.
That's right. Has to be
The
noodles
second
on
it
bottom,
gets
hot sauce on the top, but that's it.
Kevin, this
What
spaghetti's
happens
kind
to
of
you?
cold still.
I don't know.
What happens to you when you're confronted with cold
Oh,
spaghetti?
Kevin
Cold
better
sweats,
eat your that's probably
pale.
why. Because your mom probably was like, eat your spaghetti, Kevin, before it gets cold. Please no.
That's cold spaghetti is like such a joy.
Were you beaten by a wet noodle?
I don't know, man.
Where did this even come from?
No idea.
Let's do exposure therapy one day, and
Yeah.
then all
Like
get
Mari.
confronted by a werewolf, and then you get just confronted with spaghetti, some leftovers.
Does that mean you won't eat leftover spaghetti?
Never.
Oh wow!
Really?
Never.
You won't even eat leftover spaghetti?
Nah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because then it's like you have like the grease that makes a little gelatin layer at the top, and then
That's gross.
it
That
melts
is gross.
down into it. It just changes the whole.
That you're still learning. You know, I
Yeah.
love that you're still learning things about your
Yeah.
friends.
No, he's never divulged this before.
I've never seen her wear a pink shirt, and you know what? It
a
looks
good
great.
color. It
I
is
like
a good
it.
color.
It's
Is
good
it
on
pink?
you.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
It's
What the fuck ever, dude? It's
that's a light pink.
This is peach.
It's like a coral.
whatever
like
makes
a
you feel
light
good.
coral, yeah.
It looks good on you.
Thank you.
It does.
That pink
It's a nice
peach
color.
shirt looks nice on you.
It's not pink. It's a peach shirt, dude. Maybe
Whatever,
even a
man.
little reddish.
Why
Shut
do you not
up.
want that to be pink so
I'm not
badly?
against pink, but pink is like a bright color.
No, it could be pale pink,
No, this is peach.
like a baby pink.
Like a peach.
That's
All
that's I don't know. That's very light pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pale.
Yeah. It's like an Easter moment.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Well,
gonna color you all like that.
Yeah.
For Easter.
next we had Swerve and Breezango versus Forgotten Sons. Swerve picks up the win here for the team.
Which, like I mentioned on the text, they made Swerve look great.
They
last
really
night.
did.
They made him look like a fucking star.
They did.
is a
Brazil
star.
don't need it because they already look good, right? Right?
Yeah, no, and they don't because I'm
Good
sorry,
looking
I don't know what
boys.
it was about. Maybe it was the aviator shades, but god damn, Breezango looked handsome last
They
night.
might need to stick with the pilot look.
That's like
I like that it's changing every
I would
time.
100% agree with you. It's almost too good. Like I think that maybe the problem is that literally it's too good.
It's
He's
possible.
too beautiful.
Both of them?
They're both stunning.
They're stunning.
No, I'm
dude.
just wondering. I was
Like,
I'm
I-
just clarifying.
I'd
so I
imagine,
knew
like,
who
if-
we were talking about.
Different
If Tyler Breeze and if they were both single, and Tyler Breeze and Fandango asked me, like, when I say if they're both single, this is you think this is going in a bad direction?
Yeah, I was like, where's this going, Jamie?
If they were both single and like probably they're like, Jamie, come on out, let's go to the bars tonight. I'd be like, I'm
No.
staying home because they're not going to be talking to me.
Hey,
they're going to
dude.
be talking to you
If
two.
they were like, "Hey Rachel, you want to go out sometime?" I'd be like, "No, I'm scared of your beauty and your jawline. I don't want any part of it."
Like, because if you're like, oh, we're going to go get chicks, it's like, no, you guys are going to go get chicks, and I'm going to be driving.
yeah.
Dude, it's
You're the
cool.
turtle of the situation.
In that case,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, everyone next to them
Absolutely.
is the turtle.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair.
I think I
am
hold my own.
Like, I would,
I think I hold my own.
I would never bring a girlfriend around either of them.
Well, they're very
Neither.
respectful, so I'm sure that you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's fine. They probably wouldn't do
But your
nothing, but
girlfriend would
she
be like,
might fall in
huh.
love.
They,
Yeah.
might,
Yeah.
they might do a lot of thrusting towards
Yeah.
her.
And Beth just is so into it.
I love it. Her
But I like
scene
it.
on
I
Twitter,
like it
or on the
because
commentary
she,
is great.
I
Yeah.
like it because she's like ignorant. Like
Yeah, yeah, the-
because
the
they're like
pilot.
everything goes over your head. I mean, Beth.
She's like, yeah, they said they were gonna give me, help me be
They
a
said-
pilot. And,
they said the trick is to
if-
grasp the throttle.
If it's too, and the throttle's too big, use both hands. I was like, oh my god.
I think I audibly, like, out loud went, hell yeah. While I was watching it by myself, just, yeah, hell yeah.
No, No, yeah. Her acting all airheady during those things makes
Great,
it. It's
great.
so much better.
But that's the thing that I love about her doing that too, because she's not like that
Totally.
with anybody else. But that
Yes.
makes that
It's-
happen for you, where you're
Like
just
she's
like,
not
I
a
don't
female
know.
Jerry Lawler. You know?
It's like
I don't know.
when Corey fawns over Mandy. It's a similar thing.
Totally.
Man, when are we
Yeah.
gonna get a female Jerry Lawler where instead of the puppies, like she just yells some sort of thing for testicles?
Look at that dick!
Like not even innuendo.
No innuendo.
I love corn dogs, right? He looks like he weighs a delicious amount of corn dogs.
I also
like-
like the idea that somebody's really excited that you can see their balls. Like, yeah, balls!
Yeah, like I feel like there's no
No.
girl that is like that is like, yeah, dicks, you know?
It's
Like,
Hey,
like-
you know,
like the way Jerry
Like
Lawler
Morrow-
would do it?
Yeah,
no,
like
no
Morrow's
one's
just-
ever been that excited over the outline
No
of a
way, like
penis.
Morrow calls like, oh, they're wearing like a crazy gear tonight, and then Beth's like, you see that dick print?
Mamma mia,
Yes,
that
they
dick
are.
print, you know?
I would say the closest that girls get is just being like, hey, he's wearing gray sweatpants.
That's the only time. That's the
Hey, look that way.
the only
Okay.
time you see women doing it is if a guy posts a picture where his penis is so clearly evident that they go like, "Let's go."
Like, remember when the game
Just walking
posted
down
that
the street
sweatpants? Remember when
slanging.
Game posted that sweatpants pic?
Totally. There's a wrestler who recently did it too, where girls were like,
No,
"Whoa."
if there's any moment where you post a picture of you in gray sweatpants, immediately every woman is just
I'm
quietly.
sorry, these motherfuckers aren't wearing underwear as
No,
well. They're not.
No,
Like-
there's no way.
Zoom in instead.
Also, I
No,
mean-
any woman next to each other just quietly and tactfully goes, "Oh my god."
Oh, my.
Hey, look that way.
Oh, my.
Oh,
That's
my-
just me on commentary. Oh my god.
I have a lot of female friends who would just be like, "No, dick." So
Oh, they sound cool.
Yeah.
They sound cool.
I like that.
You can hang out with them.
I love that move Swerve did where he like jumped off of one of the
Riker.
guys
Yeah,
I forgot,
and you-
Riker, and then
Yeah.
did the
The back-
moonsault.
yeah.
So cool. So cool. So the next match was Angel Garza versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher. We're gonna
Which I like that they're really starting to pull back from. He's not a fucking butler anymore.
yeah, absolutely.
For Jack, they
And
have
I-
him like in his robe and stuff.
And Angel Garza is going to be a star. Speaking
Yeah.
of handsome dudes, he's like so handsome.
Yeah,
that guy.
you're. I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm just saying you do champion Angel Garza quite a bit.
Definitely, I think he's going to be a big deal. We're running low on time because you got to get out of here.
No, I'm actually fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I have to be somewhere at 6, but it's 5 minutes away.
Okay. Well, I'm still.
Everyone on the podcast cares.
I'll
I know.
skip
Well,
that
that
one.
red light is
I
on.
know. I'll skip that one just in the interest of time.
Which
There's not
was
a
the
ton
what?
to talk about. Then we had Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai versus Marina Shea Fear and Jessamine Duke. Tegan and Dakota win to earn a WWE Women's Tag Team title shot, which I love that they're finally going to defend those belts in NXT. Long overdue.
Well, it's long overdue for like just them doing stuff with those titles because save a few blips with Alexa and Nikki Cross. They haven't really been doing much with those titles.
And also, Sasha Bailey showed up in NXT with them, like, we're going to defend him here. And
And it
then
never
nobody
happened.
did.
Yeah.
No one ever defended them. So, like, the fact that they're finally going to do that, I think is smart. I think it's also smart to have, the Asuka being back on NXT for a night, and Kairi Sane as well. I mean, and I like that Kairi Sane gets to come back because if my memory serves me correct, she was one of those ones that, like, lost a match where she was never allowed to come back to NXT afterwards. Like I think it was
so.
like a loser leave town type thing where like you
If-
could never.
That's such a weird thing to do if you're not like permanently injured forever. Like it's such a weird thing to be like, no, you're never gonna come back because you will come back. They always come back.
Well, when they did that though, the idea of going to USA wasn't as prominent in their eyes. So not always, because you'd be surprised. Like there's a lot of guys that haven't gone back. Like Big E's never gone back. Like.
Well, that because that would mean that there's probably a
Is-
solo run.
Would
No,
you
I
say-
just mean in terms of like an appearance there.
Yeah,
I'm
you
trying
know?
to think,
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of like the past NXT like stalwarts, like the main.
Sami Zayn.
I mean, in terms of the most success, I'd say Big E's the most successful one.
Yeah.
Well, Seth Rollins.
Rollins
is the first
He was
NXT
so
champion.
goddamn early. I always forget that he was
Yeah.
in
But also,
NXT.
if you went back to NXT, then that's like a completely. He'd be heel.
I just mean not like necessarily going back to NXT. Oh, you mean because he was like
But
did
if
the
he
whole
came,
5 thing?
Yeah, if he came back.
I want that back.
If he came
Oh,
back,
that theme song was so
for
hard.
for his birthday, I made him a cake that was in the shape of a hand,
Aw.
like a 5, and he was like, "How do you even know what that is? Like nobody cares."
I need
Everyone
you to.
cares.
Yeah.
About
I need
Oh,
you to
yeah.
help me out with Mr. Epsilon because
Okay.
me and him, we're like friends, but we're not. Like
I can't believe that. I feel
it's
like you
weird
guys have so
because
much in
like
common.
every time we run into each other, like we're all buddy and stuff. But on socials and all that stuff, we're like, I'm good with Kofi, I'm good with Woods, but like,
well, he's a real weirdo.
yeah, and I'm just like,
And he'll try to date your mom.
But he's also like he's
better than
you
my
know
stepdad.
Whoa. Spicy.
I love that. No, you guys have so much in common, like with the like hip hop and
That's what I'm
sneakers
saying.
and shit. Yeah. I mean,
it's like I don't understand why we're not like better friends.
you will be.
Yeah. Anyway.
If it's the last thing I do,
With a weird
you and
laugh.
Thank you,
Thor-
Rachel.
Yeah, no, I will kill myself afterwards. I did it.
This is my legacy.
And so then we also had main event Roderick Strong, Keith Lee
Which
versus Dominic Dijakovic.
Incredible
That shit
match.
blew me away.
Yeah.
It really did. Like,
That Tower of Doom looked terrifying because
I was so
when
scared.
Keith Lee like fell back, I was like, no.
Oh.
yeah, it's like he really had to like core.
Yeah, because you saw. I mean, there's that one part like Roddy like is struck like they're you almost look like he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna get
Roddy
him over.
being held by Double D.
Thank you.
Looked like Bianca's hair in 2K20. Like, it was just like a rod sticking out. It was ridiculous.
That spot was crazy. Even though there wasn't that much of a connection, I thought that the spot where he suplexed Keith onto Roderick was
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
Because like if you're a little, that's what I loved is that little ass Roderick Strong like was just getting like sandwiched between these two giant men, you know, like and even like that part and I just can't even if you're as big as Dojovic.
Dijakovic.
Say it again.
Dijakovic.
Dijakovic. Dijakovic.
It's like you're telling Djokovic
I'm gonna
to
get
die.
it. I'm
No,
gonna
you
get
won't.
it. Dijakovic.
You still call her Nia
I
Jax. So
I don't give a shit how big Dijakovic is. Like when you see fucking all 300 and something pounds of Keith Lee over the top rope
That
on
was
the floor,
insane.
and you have to catch him. Like
that
no.
was insane.
no hands
No.
planche. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah. Oh.
Like because the
Yeah.
other time he did that, he used the
Right.
rope.
This
This
time,
one just
no hands.
Yeah, I was blown away by the match. I mean, all three of them, they were just like killing it the whole entire time.
And the ending was fun.
I think
because
this was probably the match of the night of the whole night.
It
Yeah.
really was.
I just really like Cameron Grimes and Matt Riddle. You're
Sure,
right. You're
cool.
right.
I'm cool with that.
You're right.
But I'm saying that, like, in terms of like that, I for a few times I audibly said, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And I live alone, you
Yeah.
know, like so. And so,
Dart is there too.
Dart is there too, but he's not as audible.
I'm sure he's got some good takes too, though.
Yeah, I agree.
He does.
I think this
He's watched a lot of wrestlers eating dinner.
I agree. I think this was definitely the match of the night. I mean, I agree. I think I personally prefer Riddle and Grimes, but Grimes, that is fun. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But I like knee stuff. I like people kicking people
Me
in
too.
the
That's why I
face.
like it so much too.
Yeah, but this is just a completely different match. More flippy stuff, which
Yeah.
I appreciate.
Which is crazy
And
because
then-
big guys flippy stuff.
which is my favorite part of PWG,
Yeah.
which is now my favorite part of NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so good. And the end was the end. The end was cool.
I thought the finish was pretty smart because it made
Yeah,
Roddy
I
it
do
made
too.
you dislike Roddy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that bastard.
Like, he
you
did
know?
nothing and he
He
won.
did nothing. That asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Perfect.
That also reminded me of like a PWG like Roddy, like a shitty Roddy win.
Shitty little boots.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shitty
And
little
dude, I'm
boots.
sorry. Even though everybody involved was great, I give Keith Lee so much credit for this one. It's not so much. Well, of course he performed incredibly, but he took a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
he took a beating that night. He took a lot of moves that a guy that his size shouldn't be taking. When I say shouldn't, like they don't need to because he's big. You know, like getting him off
Yeah.
his feet is an accolade. You know.
Yep.
That-
Yeah. No.
The
Absolutely.
angle slam to him from Roddy was primo.
Oh yeah.
And then at
Great.
the end, he got like 5 different finishers on him. Like
Yeah.
after all that, where I'd just be like, "Can I go back now and rest?"
Eat a corn dog.
Yeah, eat a corn
Just
dog.
give me like a good amount of corn dogs.
I don't need a delicious amount.
Yeah,
What
just a
happened
good
after
amount.
that match, Ryan?
So then,
Hey,
yeah.
2
So
ain't
then,
enough. 3 ain't enough. I need 5.
Hey. So Roddy wins, and then we had this awesome post-match angle
Yeah, boy,
where
howdy.
everyone's, the Undisputed Era, they're beating up on Keith Lee, and then Ciampa makes his entrance. He does his little walk to the ring.
He is so spooky looking.
He is.
In the best way.
Yeah, totally.
Such a good look.
It's also funny seeing him carry the crutch still for some reason when you're like, wait, wasn't it your shoulder that was injured?
And he's
Like,
dragging
It's
it.
his thing now.
I know it's his thing now, but it
It's
was
all
like
looks fucking
It's all
fucked up
camoed.
and shit. Yeah.
it's random, but
He got it. He got a crutch skin.
Yeah.
I think this might have been the end of the crutch.
I hope so.
Because when we had the DIY moment, like
Docking.
Well, he threw it out,
when
but
we had the docking moment, yeah.
well, he threw it over the top, but only because he was going to get.
That's
hit.
what I was wondering.
But,
Yeah.
but I feel like this is like a renaissance of DIY, which hopefully means the end
Maybe.
of a crutch gimmick.
All right.
I hope so.
I don't need crutch gimmick.
I would also be cool with the crutch thing going away.
Yeah, but tell what happened.
So then Johnny Gargano comes out next.
Johnny Wrestling.
Johnny Wrestling comes out. DIY reunites. It's going to be and they're facing off with Undisputed Era. And then Finn Balor's music hits. Now, last week he had teased that his future was going to be his past. So he comes out. He stands side by side with DIY. But instead of joining them, he hits the sickest Pele kick ever.
Dude,
like that was the coolest.
because he was just like halfway jacket off and then just does it out of and like it looks so seamless.
The jacket made it. Like the fact that he looks like he's taking it out and
Yeah.
does it. It made him look so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like a glitch in the Matrix. It looks like he got cut in half.
it happened so damn fast
Yeah.
that you're just like, wait, what happened?
I had to
thing is,
rewatch it like 3 times. I was like, "Where's
Did
your
he hit him?
foot?"
That's the thing is because you usually you'll see something like, oh, here he comes. I can see I look back at it. That's the moment where he comes, and I looked back at it. I'm like, oh no, this is.
Well, they did something
So
that they
great.
don't do on the main roster, which is pace it properly and not for a 3-hour show. So they didn't have a close zoom on him for
Right.
30 seconds before he did it. You see him positioning, he starts to take off the jacket, and then he hits the move. And it's like, okay, that's the way that this is supposed to unfold.
And I also like that he didn't join in with Undisputed
Yeah,
Era.
they
That
offered
like
up
they
the
well first
thing.
they're like beating. He doesn't join in the beatdown of
No.
Ciampa. He goes outside. He continues his beatdown on Gargano, and then does the Bloody Sunday on
Which
the ramp.
looked
It
horrifying.
looks
Yeah,
awful. Like,
totally.
It,
It
genuinely
looked
awful.
horrifying.
Totally.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, he murdered him.
And then they do the hand signal at him, thinking that he's joining the team. But no, he does the finger guns from the Bullet
Which
Club
is great.
finger guns
That
instead.
just made me so
well,
excited.
I think Anderson tweeted.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said
He
like,
did.
"What took you so long, Prince?" with a
Yeah.
question mark, and
Yeah.
then AJ Styles said, "Well, or something like that. To me, I feel like this is the setup for Undisputed Era versus the Club. Finally, like this is how they're going to combat
during
AEW.
War Games, maybe?
Yes,
It's a 4v4 like that. It's just this makes so
fits
much sense
perfectly.
The whole situation read to me like Finn was Scar and Undisputed Era were the hyenas. Like,
yeah, it had that vibe.
because he came out and he kicks and then they all just jump on Keith Lee.
And they were even like waiting to go before until
Yeah.
he did it. Like they were like as if there was something stopping them. They were, it was
I
great.
can't. Master says no.
Exactly. Yeah.
I liked it so much.
So much.
And I think this also means that we're probably gonna get the demon again soon.
Totally. I mean,
Which I
I had
need.
heard that was one of the main reasons they were taking him back to NXT was because they wanted to make the Demon cool again. If it really was just to kind of like give him an edge again, I'm super into it. And dude, I was not expecting it. That was one of those ones that popped me where
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
hope that it's a new demon, like it's a different looking.
I was
demon.
hoping the same thing.
And like maybe it's like more leaning towards what he used to do. And
That's
and-
exactly
We're
what
not
I
going
was
to
hoping
we're not
too.
going to get any of the tributes.
I mean, never.
No, but I'm thinking more of like the black and white
Black and
kind of look
white,
that he
yeah,
had. Like when he
maybe-
first came to NXT and he had that picture too with Kevin Owens when they were doing like the test screening stuff.
Right.
And like kind of like the
The heart
tongue, the
thing,
more
you know.
Venom looking vibe and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't need
like
is
no headdress.
belts
No.
on your headdress. We can see that it's belts.
Yeah, I
Like,
hate it.
What is that?
Headdress is dorky.
I don't,
hated it.
okay, I don't mind a headdress moment because I love Cher, but like if you're going to create a look like this demonic look, get something that are not belts.
Yeah.
You could literally see the hole punches inside of the belt loops.
Really?
When
I
he
didn't
had
even
the when he
notice
did the
that.
Go
Jack
back
the
and look
Ripper
at it.
thing,
It's crazy.
When
The
he
top,
did
he had a top hat on.
but did he have
Yeah.
them on as well?
I don't know.
The was it just the hat?
I don't know.
Because I feel like the Jack the Ripper one was the coolest one he did.
That when you bring
I like
that
the
up,
idea of both of them like a voodoo demon.
I mean, when you bring that up, it just reminds me of how Ember Moon basically makes her gear out of soda cans. You know,
That's true.
The thing that
like,
bothers Jamie till no end.
He hates that
What
so
are you, a
much.
trash person?
like literally, like she's got this like chain metal, and you look close. Those are soda tabs.
What's funny is that was like very popular fashion in the early 2000s, like a Britney Spears 2004 thing. And so every time I see it, I'm like, huh. That's a throwback.
He did have the
dreads underneath.
The dreads, but it was coming from the hat, so it looked less weird.
It was a
like
Voodoo Prince
part
thing,
of his
yeah.
hat.
Which is probably not like you probably can't do that. He can't do that probably.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
Okay, finally we'll get out of here after this, but I just want to know which show do you guys think was better?
NXT.
NXT.
Ooh, you're struggling. While you're thinking, I'm gonna say NXT 2 on this one. I think NXT. I just from hearing our conversation about it too, we had a lot less nitpicky things when it came to NXT. Seems like we generally kind of enjoyed
Yeah.
most of NXT.
I have to say, as a show, NXT, but I popped more during AEW. Like I had more moments where I was like, "Wow, look at that!"
Fair.
But that doesn't make that does not a show make.
I think that does not a show make. You are right.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think you're right. I think that AEW threw more at you, had a lot like going on, like stuff to like, you know, like making you like shiny object type thing. But like I think the like stronger wrestling show was NXT.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, Jay, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at JAMIE_IOVINE or on Instagram, JAMIEIOVINE. Check out Network every day and TWRK for our daily raffles and product drops, exclusive items, or early to market that you can't get anywhere else at the time. And also, hey, 2 weeks, I'm going to fucking I said fucking, wow. I'm going to bash that kid's face in. I'm going to take Adrian Street down.
I like it.
I am. That's
Where?
Hell
Tell
yeah.
him where.
2 weeks at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood taping in Port Hueneme. If you want to see a small child get abused by somebody who is just genetically superior than he is,
Yeah.
that's a place to be.
That's what I like to hear. We're going to
That's
be there. We're going to be
right.
cheering for upper class.
Damn right.
You guys can find
Kevin, where
me
can we find you at?
Kevin Gets Rad, cross-platform. That includes Venmo.
Well done.
No, and you could also find me with a corn dog in hand, cheering on Jamie.
Yeah. You know what?
Championship
By the
Wrestling.
way, when in Japan, what do when a wrestler comes in the ring?
Throw corn
Give him a
dogs
corn
out.
dog?
No, they throw streamers.
Oh, yeah.
so,
Throw corn dogs.
Yeah, I'll just be
Jamie,
like,
we're not going to throw corn dogs during your thing. It'll poke someone's eye out.
I might do
I'm
that.
willing to take that risk.
Oh,
If you're
man.
giving me the okay, I'm doing it.
No, I've met the guy who runs that building in Port Hueneme. He is not
he's
cool
a
with
dick.
it. He is not cool with
he's
people
such a dick.
He's actually kind of a nice guy, but he's serious about the building.
Not the old guy.
Yeah, the old guy.
Oh, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the guy who works for him.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the old guy.
No, the old
in
guy's
the
nice.
office. Yeah, I like
the old
him.
guy's nice. I'm talking
But he's
about...
not okay with throwing corn dogs, for sure, for sure.
yeah.
Can't
Specifically?
imagine anyone would be.
I just know he won't be.
Oh, yeah.
Just by knowing he
I'm
runs a
sneaking
tight
corn
ship.
dogs in my pockets. I don't care.
Rachel, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Rachel Sam Evans or Rachel Sam Vance. It depends on how your brain works. And on the History Channel on Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Nice.
What?
Like one of those talking heads people?
Yeah, I'm an expert.
That's awesome.
And you can
Great.
also catch me at Jamie's show throwing corn dogs.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
please.
so it's kind of like what was that show where they used to talk about the best things of the week? That VH1
Best
used
Week
to
Ever?
Best week ever.
It's like that, but it's like, my dog is a ghost now. And then I have to be like, okay, so here's the psychological ramifications of thinking that your dog is a ghost.
I love it.
Everything.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
really
love
bad.
it.
It's really bad.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. At Wrestling Sheet on social media, youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the videos that we do every week here at Wrestling Sheet. Also, check us out on our podcast feed. Search all your favorite podcast platforms for Wrestling Sheet Radio. Subscribe there. All right, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt. Keep your eyes on.